And then I saw myself, which I assume was myself, in this white a bubble, just like this white light of this bubble of white light, and just floating up and into this in this bubble, with the background being those pastel colors, floating up into space. Um,
Interesting.
yeah, so that's what I saw. Um, it's I'm laughing because they showed me, and I don't know if it's just an analogy or what, but they showed me a. I'm laughing because it's funny now that I think of it. I didn't think of it at the time, but now it's funny. Um, Linda the Good Witch, as she goes off in a bubble.
Mm-hmm.
They showed me kind of like it looked like of just being in this clear bubble of light, and just floating up, as the Good Witch would come and go, out of Oz. So that's kind of what they showed me it looked like. I didn't look like her, but I just felt like it was just I was just all in white, just like all in white, like robe type floaty thing, very thin material.
Interesting.
Yeah, so that's what I saw there, and then I see and then as we went continued, then it switched, and I was literally on sitting, which is bizarre. I mean, I don't even know what it was, but I was sitting. I found myself feeling like I was sitting on the very peak of a pyramid, like the very
Mm-hmm.
top of a pyramid, just looking down at the pyramid, which and it was huge. I mean, just huge. So
Wow.
yeah, so that's the two visions I got. Now where I'm going with that, I don't know. So let me uh, see, because they're two totally different things that I was seeing. So
Yeah. Let's see what happens next.
okay, where am I going to go? Let's see. All right, well, they were taking me back up, back in the bubble. So I'm kind of just still floating. Um,
Okay.
seems like they want to go there. So hmm, just, okay, just floating up now into space, and I'm just into black space. Okay, lots of stars. I'm out in the universe. I'm just floating upward in this bubble. Just actually, it's fascinating to be in this protective bubble that you can't, nothing can hurt me, and and I know that, and so it's really interesting just to be in this bubble and to be looking around and seeing what's out there.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's just really all black except for thousands of stars. I mean, just millions of stars, just all over the place. Just a lot of light. It's a lot of light.
Wow. Neat.
And then yeah, I'm just cruising around right now. I'm just cruising around in this bubble, just like kind of like just awed at the vision of what that is. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
now it's okay. Now all of a sudden there's a interesting. There's a planet, what I assume is a planet, um, coming into view, and I'm getting closer and closer to it. The bubble's getting closer and closer to it. Okay, now I'm gently just starting to just float down. The bubble's floating down to this planet, whatever it is, and coming down into the atmosphere of it.
Very cool.
Um,
Are you still wearing your little white outfit?
I think so. I'm looking, yeah. I can't even really see what I look like. It's almost not important, or I don't know. I mean, I don't. Yeah, I'm just. That's the most I see is just this flowing white gown type of thing.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Now, looking. Okay, now looking at it, as I'm trying to look at it now, I have this blonde hair. It's a female, um, thick. It's hard to describe, but thick blonde hair, but it's not like a blonde that we would normally think of blonde hair. It's like a really, really yellow blonde hair. in kind of like in waves. I can't explain it. It's not tufts, but it's like wavy, but like hunks of waves, like hard to describe. Just kind of coming down out of the head. It's like hair. But it's like very a different color. It's like very, very yellow, bright yellow.
Interesting.
Yeah, and just thick, but yeah, it's just hard to describe of like how it's laying, like different kind of. But anyway, that's what I see. A detail, which I'll say, which is kind of silly, but it looks like all the hair is like to one side almost. It's like all the hair is pulled up and over, and it's just coming down one side, like
Mm-hmm.
for whatever detail that is, I don't know.
Interesting. And is it long?
Yeah, it's pretty long. It's past shoulder length. Yeah, this wavy, very wavy, very pretty. Yeah, very different. So that's what I see. Okay, so coming down was just awful.
And how old do you think you look in this image?
Maybe hard to say, but I want to say maybe late 20s, early 30s. Just kind of youngish, not too old.
Okay.
Very, very white skin, very like what you would like Snow White type skin, this very almost see-through, pure, very, very pure looking, very angelic. Okay, that's it. That's a word, angelic looking.
Oh, neat.
What pictures look like sometimes angels look like, that kind of that translucent skin, and yeah, so kind of that look. I'm getting the energy of that.
Cool.
So, okay, coming down in the bubble. Okay, as the bubble lands on the surface, and I don't see much of what the surface is. I don't know. It's just surface. I know it's on the surface. They're showing like this invisible like door opens up from the bubble. I mean, I didn't even know that there was a door there because it was just a pure bubble, see-through bubble. But out of nowhere, there's like this door that appears on the bubble as I land, and it slides up. It just kind of like it's almost like what like a glass door maybe, but the whole thing's glass, but the glass it slides up, and I know to step out. It's familiar to me actually. It's like I know that the door was going to open and that I would walk out. So this form of transportation seems very familiar to me. That this is not something new. This is the way we transport.
Cool.
This glass bubble thing.
Cool. That's very cool.
Yeah. So, I mean, I know that the door will open and I'll get out and I'll walk out. And now where I'm at, I'm very comfortable. In fact, I'm very glad to be there. I feel like kind of like sighing with relief. It's like, okay, I'm here. It's kind of like, I made it. I'm here. We're good. So.
So you resonate as like this is a home of yours that you like?
Feels that way. It feels like that's my comfort place. It feels like that's where I'm most comfortable. Like I'm comfortable there. That's where I belong. Coming back. Feel like I'm coming back now. I'm just gonna walk. I'm just walking. Let's see if there's anything.
Okay.
I still don't really see anything on the surface. I don't really see anything. No, let me just say.
Now, what does the atmosphere of this planet look like? Like, does it have like a blue sky or?
No, it's still dark. It's still dark. Stars. I mean, it's almost like you could see everything that I could see before. It's just that I'm on a surface now.
Interesting.
So with stars, So I got at this point, and the surface is just barren. I really don't see anything on the surface that, it's just like landing. I don't want to say concrete because it's not, but it's just that barren, that nothing there.
Yeah. Well, let's see what happens next.
Okay, I see some people in the distance as I'm walking, like a group of people. And they kind of look like me. I mean, they look, very translucent skin, all wearing some form of flowing. I mean, it's so thin. This material is so thin, just flowing. Really, really like thin material. I don't know what it would be, but kind of just everything is flowing. So the women are wearing the same thing I'm wearing, like kind of like a robe dress type thing.
Mm-hmm.
And the men are wearing more of a white, same material, but white pants and like a tunic type thing.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody's dressed the same in male, female, from what I can see. So
Cool.
yeah, group of people. As I'm walking, I'm seeing them kind of standing in the distance, waiting for me to walk up to them. Okay, and as I walk up to them, right now, I want to say maybe there's like 10 people or so, 10 to a dozen people that are just standing there, very happy to see me. They're smiling and their arms are outstretched and they're waiting
Oh,
when I walk in. And I'm really happy to see them. I feel really good about seeing them. It's like I know them all, and they're they're my close,
soul family.
family, close friends. I don't know yet. They're just very familiar to me.
Yeah. Well, why don't you take a minute and connect with them and see what they have to say, or just spend a few moments connecting and getting a sense of who they are.
Okay, well, we're all hugging. We're all, glad, greeting each other and glad to see each other. They're giving me the impression, and again, we're not speaking or anything really, but they're giving me the impression that I've been gone a while, that I don't feel like I've been gone a while, but they feel like I've been gone a while. So it's kind of like, in my mind, I'm saying, why are you guys making such a big deal about this? I feel, I wasn't gone that long, and it's kind of like a mental telepathy thing, and they're just like, acting like, oh my gosh, she's, back. It's like huge, and and I'm not feeling that. I'm not feeling it was that long, and I'm like kind of confused. I'm kind of confused and saying, it hasn't been that long, and they're like, oh no, it really has.
Interesting.
They give me the feeling that no, it's been, we're just glad you're back and safe and made it back here. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
And do you think you might have been like doing work on Earth? Maybe that's where you went, or where do you think you were gone to?
I feel like that's what it was. Let me just tap into that and try to find that's true in more details. Well, they're talking about a mission. They're talking about a mission, and they're saying, we're so glad you're back from your mission. And again, it's not verbal necessarily. I think it's more mental.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But they're saying, so when I say they're saying, that's kind of what I'm seeing. So they're saying, we're so glad, tell us all about it. They're really excited. They're actually really, very excited. And they all are asking questions and, throwing all these questions at me, and they're all excited and they want to know, about the mission and what did you do and how was it? And, they're very excited. I'm kind of just still not getting it really. I'm just like, I think I'm acclimating. I think I'm just having a little, okay, now the word timelines is coming into this, and there's, I'm feeling like that okay, I guess what I'm hearing here is that I have to readjust my time frequency, because for where I was on Earth, it was a total different frequency and a total different time thing, and they don't really understand that. They're not really understanding that. They just know that I've been gone a long time, and now I'm back, and I'm on a different a different time understanding than they are. So I'm a little confused. So yeah, that's what's happening. So I'm confused about the time. I have to get used to again of time not being a concept necessarily, because I feel like that I haven't been gone that long and I didn't know quite what they were saying, and it's a little confusing to me. But I feel like where I came from, there was definitely, time restrictions, so to speak. Um,
Yes.
time was restricted and time was controlled, and I have to explain that to them. They don't understand that. So that's the first thing I'm thinking that, okay, I'm thinking the first thing I've got to talk to them about is this time thing, because they don't understand that. So
Mhm.
I've got to give them some kind of information about that. So they have a million questions and they really want to, they're all excited, and it's kind of like like a welcoming home type thing, a big thing. And so they're, they all have questions. So, I'm like,
Cool. Well, why don't you spend a few moments just connecting and answering some questions with them telepathically, and I'll wait patiently here while you have a moment with them.
now, do you want me to explain out loud what we're talking about, or just not?
If that is easy for you to do, or if it's easier for you to just converse with them for a time, then that's fine as well. Whatever is better for you.
Well, again, it's important, I think, to explain what they're doing, and that again is me having to explain it's an important concept. The importance of the concept, I guess, is the fact that explaining to them how time is different, how time
Mm-hmm.
is different in different places. Okay, some of them, most of them, have never been interesting. Okay, so what I'm getting is that most of them have never been to Earth, that they have not experienced it. So that's why they're so excited to find out what it was like and what happened and explain. And so they don't understand the concept of time at all. So I'm realizing now that, that's, I have to shift gears on. So like, I feel like I have to just kind of shift gears here and start explaining what time is to them, because they
Yeah.
understand that concept. So that's the first thing that we're going to talk about. So um, rather than just standing there now, I feel like we're going to this now the next thing I'm seeing is that we're all sitting around this like table, this conference room, almost table type thing, and we're just going to talk. We're
Okay.
just going to talk, and we're just going to, they're going to ask questions, and I'm going to have answers for them. There's a few more people now that are interested in hearing this, and more people are coming in. um,
Cool.
yeah, they want to find out too. They have, want to hear what's being said. So anybody who's in interest is just kind of showing up. So anyway, so it's this room with this table, and yeah, so they're just going to ask me questions, and I'm going to explain as well as I can. I'm going to explain time to them and try to make them understand the concept of time, and how I feel that, you know um, I haven't been gone that long and they feel I have, and try to understand each other with the time element thing. So we're going to talk about that, and again, of course, you just have like a million questions about what I did. What was I doing? What was the purpose? They kind of knew. They're okay. So what I'm getting is they kind of, before I left, okay, this is interesting. So leave, before you leave to go on your mission, um, everybody, the same people or anybody who wants to attend, there's a meeting. There's kind of like a meeting of kind of talking about, what the mission is. So everybody has an idea of what, you're going for, and what your purpose is. So you kind of have a little briefing, like a debriefing before you go, and let them know, what your mission is. And it's kind of just all being discussed and talked about. So then when you come back, then we're all sitting around again, and discussing then the journey, so to speak, with
Yeah.
everybody. So that's
Are
what.
you able to find out what planet you are on and what kind of a being you are?
Hmm. Well, what I got was it's another galaxy. It's not our solar system. It's
Mm-hmm.
another place that we don't even know about on Earth. I mean, we're not familiar with it. Um, hmm. Yeah, they're not. It's, hmm. Okay. So what I'm getting now is that it's not, since I seem to be the only one that's actually been to Earth on this mission. So it doesn't seem like a planet or a place where that's something that is happens too often. Um,
Mm-hmm.
that the missions of people there are to go to Earth, and that's not really, because none of them have been, and that's why they're so excited to hear about it, because they've only heard, about it, because they're just very anxious to hear. So it doesn't seem like a place that we're familiar with, that others have come. So the group that I'm with, at least, has not been. Nobody has been to Earth, and so that's why they're so anxious to hear about it. But
Interesting.
yeah, so I know it's just not in this not in the solar system. It's a there's, a galaxy that's off, pretty far in the distance, that again, they're saying that Earth is not aware of. Earthlings are not aware of. Um,
Cool.
yeah, so that's why maybe it's so weird that there's really no, like there's nothing. I don't see, I mean, I see a surface, and no vegetation, no nothing. I just literally nothing except now this room, so it's, you go, you just, it's not even like we walk to this room. It's like, you just are then suddenly in the room, it's
So
not,
your consciousness creates where
yeah,
you will be.
it's all consciousness. It's not even a place really. It's just it's interesting. These beings look like, humans, I have to say, and I look like a human, but um, dare I say better than, more
Very
perfect
perfect. Yeah.
than humans. Very angelic, very skin was almost see-through, almost etheric, almost, so
Cool.
yes, I don't know where that is, but anyway, yeah. So we just so we're having this after meeting, so to speak, of just allowing, me to tell them what happened, what was going on, what the mission. And I'm realizing how complicated it is to tell them. I'm realizing that it's just going to be so difficult, for them who have no idea, that only have, the concepts of it. It's going to be very difficult to explain the actual reality of it, of actually
Mm-hmm.
being there and doing the things I did. It's going to be very hard to discuss that with them, because I'm I'm thinking they don't even understand time. How do you explain this to them? So it's an interesting thing. So I'm gonna
Cool.
I'll do my best to just kind of explain everything to them.
Okay. Take your time.
Okay, well, and it's interesting. One of the questions is, the they want to know about like the atmosphere and the denseness. Because again, they have a concept of what it is. They're not dumb. They're smart, and they know they have the concept, but they not ever being there. They have questions about it. So their questions are along the lines of, atmosphere, denseness, air quality, like air, like how you breathe. So their questions are more of a, how do you survive type feeling in that denseness.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah, there's such lightness of beings that they don't understand how you can, how they almost feel like their questions are like, did you feel like you were suffocating? I mean, how do you get air? How do you, in that, how are you breathing? How do you breathe? That's a question that they have, which is an interesting question.
Cute.
Yeah, they just feel like it's like almost a suffocating atmosphere. Um,
It can be at times.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're just not understanding that concept either. So I'm again trying to explain to them, how it all works, and the how bodies work, and how you adjust. That once you're there, you get put into a human body, and that the human body functions according to that atmospheric environment. So I'm telling them, it's interesting, I'm telling them that, it's not like us. It's not like us here. You change, your body has to change. So you're into a body that can accept that denseness. So you
like an avatar.
Yeah. You actually just get into a body that can accept the air quality and the pollution and all the things that would kill these, if they had to go down as they are, they couldn't survive. They couldn't survive that denseness. So you have to put yourself into another body to be able to accept that atmosphere, so to speak. So I'm explaining that to them about that concept, because they didn't understand how you could possibly survive, and it's true, you couldn't. You couldn't, as they're so light and so etheric, so to speak, that their bodies could not exist in our atmosphere.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. So anyway, so we're just talking, questions, answering questions like that, answering questions, really explaining about time, about how, time was made up to, it's hard to explain the concept of that too to them, because there's no such thing. So, like it's a control, it's part of a control system. It's part of a keeping everything in order type of system. So again, explaining all that to them, that, they want to understand, I've been trying to understand that. Seeing what other questions they seem to be confused about. Just about, they're very interested in, like, again, emotions, because Earth is just, known for having emotions, which again, they don't really have negative emotions. They don't really, that's a foreign concept to them. So they're asking a lot of questions about, fighting and hate and war and all the negativities on the planet. They're very interested in that, and how, not only how is it created, like what creates it, they want to know what creates that. They want to know, they're interested in knowing what actually creates that environment, what creates that situation. How does that start? Because they don't even, in their minds and in their life and in their planet, they don't even know how that would begin. They don't understand the concept of how that would even be created. So they're,
well, that's a very good question.
Yeah, and so they want to know what created that. What creates the hate? What creates the war? What creates people to feel that way? Because they don't understand that. So again, I'm trying to explain to them,
well, we don't necessarily understand it ourselves sometimes.
No, it's very confusing. And when you have to explain it at that level, I'm realizing how difficult this is to do. I mean, I went back with the concept of, I can't wait to explain all this to them. And now that I'm trying, I'm realizing that it's not that easy, that it's just not, the concepts are so foreign. Once you're away from there, once you're away from that, from Earth, that I'm going back into my alternate thinking, where I'm looking back and going, it is really hard to explain. It's really not, I thought I understood it at the time, but as I'm back there now, I'm realizing that I can't. It's very hard to explain all those concepts and all the things that go on. It's just so much more than they can ever imagine. So to try to explain it. So I just know I have to do the best I can over time. Just allow them to be able to take, what they can take in, and try to just allow them to, conceptualize what I'm saying and take it in as they can.
Mm-hmm.
None of them, I'm just going to say, they're all sitting there saying, none of them have the desire to go. I did. For some reason, I asked, I chose the mission. Nobody really wanted to do it. And it's funny, because as I'm speaking and telling them things, they're all the more now saying, no, we don't feel that that's something that we want to ever experience. So just the core group I'm with, I don't know about the rest of the planet or who's on, but that core group that I'm with is just not interested in going through that, from what they understand. So Yeah, but I did. I wanted to experience it. They were, okay. So the reason now I'm asking why did I go? So I guess there's different missions in different places, that people go to, from that planet to go and do missions and do jobs, so to speak, whatever they're, so there was an opening, so to speak, a job opening in quotes, but an opening on Earth, um, just for this purpose, to go and learn and explore and live a life and then report back. Because again, most people did not want to do that. So they wanted at least one representative to be able to go and get as much information and gather as much information as possible and then go back, and go back and explain it and do the best you can to explain that, what it was and what it is and what you went through. So I volunteer because I was interested in doing that. I was interested more. They're not, the rest of them aren't as interested in emotions, in learning about emotions and going through all that. And I was, for some reason, I found that to be an interesting concept and I wanted to learn about that. So I chose to do that. I chose to take that mission. And so that's why I was there. And, now coming back in time to that place, I'm realizing I'm having a difficult time. I completed my mission on the planet, but I'm realizing I'm having a harder time now completing the mission of giving the information to them. It's more difficult. So I'm hoping over time that I could just start putting it into a concept that I can even understand myself.
Yeah, interesting. Very interesting.
So yeah, that's yeah, really, I think that's the gist of it. That's the main. Yeah, I don't know if there's anything else that would be important, but yeah, I think the whole idea is just the concept of them not, not trying to understand and be more aware, but they're not understanding it. They're just not quite understanding the depth of what it was, and I guess it's because again they can't understand being in a human body. They don't know what that's like. So for them to even begin to understand what it's like to be on Earth, they'd have to understand what it's like to be in a human body to be on Earth. And so they're trying to understand that alone is a difficult concept for them to understand of having this third dimensional physical body. So that's the first concept I realized that they have to understand is what that feels like. To be able to understand the rest of it, because they don't understand the emotions, they don't understand the hatred, they don't understand all the negative things on the planet. So first they have to understand the concept of being in a dense body that has emotions.
I have a fun idea. Do they know that you are also communicating with Earth same time that you're communicating with them?
Explain that.
So, what if you were to tell them that the people of Earth are interested in knowing a little bit about them and where they are and who they are, and if they would like to share some information about their culture and civilization and ways of being with the people on Earth, just for fun, just see if they would like that.
So yeah, I can ask them that question. Let's see. So again, time not being a concept anywhere else but Earth, they're trying to show me that everything happens to be happening simultaneously. So me asking them that question, and saying that the people of Earth would like to understand, and for me to communicate that, to Earth, if they would, if they could explain, but then, you know, they're, it's getting confusing. They're, so I'm going to ask them if we as a group, because they're saying, well, you're part of our group. They're what I'm getting from them is, well, you know, we understand you're part of our group, so you know where you came from. Did you? It's interesting. They're asking if then I ever, as an earthling, as being on Earth in the body, they're asking the question, did I ever ask those questions or bring that up as an Earth person? But they, again, it's so confusing because they don't understand, or they're saying, why did you ever share that with Earthlings? You know,
But you don't remember that
but,
when you're on Earth.
and also, I'm trying to explain to them that once you go to Earth and you're in that third dimensional body, you don't remember. It's not to remember where you come from or where you are. So they're again trying to understand the concept of why I wouldn't have shared where I come from. And my answer to them is, but you can, because you don't remember. When you're put into that third dimensional body, you don't remember, you know, for the most part. At least that was my mission, is not to remember where I came from, so I can be totally human and, you know, learn the actual having the human life, and not remembering where I came from. So I'm trying to explain that to them too, that
Okay.
I have that concept. So that's why I'm saying to them, so now, you know, would we be able to, now that I'm here, could we explain, you know, now that I'm no longer in a human body form there, can we explain what we are, you know? And it would be, I'm just saying to them that I couldn't do it in a human body while on a planet. While on that planet, I could not do that. It just wasn't going to happen. So they're saying, well, that they're saying we could do the best we can to explain, you know, who we are. And again, they're saying that, you know, they're showing me, you know, like a galaxy that just is so, you know, interesting that it's so far away, but yet that bubble or whatever it was so easy to just get there. You know, it was so, again, to me, it seemed like no time at all. You know, so I don't know, again, no concept of time. I have no idea how long it actually took to get there, you know, to get from here to there. So I don't have that concept. But to me, it just seemed like instant. You know, to them, it seemed like, you know, forever. You know, so yeah, I don't know. But they just want to say about themselves that they are a very, yeah, they're showing me, and they're saying that they're almost a cross between, you know, like having a body like Earthlings, you know, looking like them when you visualize them and when you can see them, you know, that's the concept that at least I have, that they're showing me, but they're really, again, just light beings.
Oh,
Really
okay.
light beings, and just, you know, and light, but I think they're just showing me, because that's why they're see-through, kind of. I mean, you know, I'm seeing them, like I say, that snowy, but the complexion is just like almost see-through. So they're all, and that's why the material of their clothes are almost see-through. They're so thin. So everything is very thin. And I thought maybe it was the atmosphere, but no, it's just they're really actually just light beings, that really can look as you want to see them, and what you would recognize, you know, as what would make sense to you to recognize them as. So that's
okay. So they're like etheric beings, and you're just sort of seeing a symbolic construct to help you understand.
yeah, they're showing me just very, very what you would think would be a very etherical being, you know, just like floating, you know, just like, but yeah, but really their actual reality is just light beings, you know, that don't necessarily even need a body. They don't need to have a body. So
And what kinds of activities do this type of beings sort of participate in? Like, what kinds of things does this kind of being like to do?
Hmm. Well, the first thing that comes to mind is they learn. They teach and they learn. So again, there's a lot of missions. There really, it's just, again, that's why there's nothing on that planet. It's really, there's nothing that we would know that, on Earth. It's nothing that would be familiar, because they're light beings that are sent off to missions to different places, different galaxies, different solar systems, different planets. They're sent all over the place, to oh, okay, so there's, yeah, like a team, like what do you call it, like a group of people, that are hmm, can't think of the word. Okay, so just a group of people that not control things, but like a committee, like there's a committee, and they're
Mm-hmm.
the ones that get information from other places that might need, something, might need help, or they want to learn from. So there's all these different, what they call as missions, or what they're saying to me as missions, that different light beings can go to, and that they can become part of that environment. They can put themselves in that body, that being, that whatever it is, they can put themselves into that. So they put themselves into, being, of whatever it is that they're going to, make themselves into that being, and then of course have the life, and then come back, and their main thing is to come back with information and to share
Mm-hmm.
and to learn. So there is help. I mean, the missions are to just also help, wherever help is needed. Not only to learn about the place they're going to and what it consists of, and I mean, so many different, scientific things they want to know, but and to share that when you come back, but also to teach while you're there. Um,
Yes.
to do whatever work you have to do there to help whatever's needed. Wow, they're showing me they do a lot of, yeah, just a lot of, just a lot of work out in all these different places that are just not even familiar to us, that we wouldn't even really understand on our level of thinking. But they're out there, in the cosmos, just and it's very it's not just flitting here or there. I mean, there's a rhyme and a reason to it. I mean, like I said, there's a committee, and they have, they get the different jobs or whatever, so to speak, and then they dole them out. First of all, who wants to volunteer? This is going to be, and it's a very, it's a controlled type of environment that way. It's not just everybody flitting wherever they want to go. There's a control to it. The missions are controlled and
Mm-hmm.
and they're important. They're very, very important. So they're monitored very carefully, and they're really thought about. There's a lot to it. There's a lot behind it. There's a lot that creates that. So that's really what they do. That's their mission. So I don't even see any kind of anything on the planet except to be where you need to be at this table, to be at the it's not anything we can conceptualize really in our world. Um,
Cool.
yeah, so that's the missions, and that's coming back, and then I'm realizing, I think my lesson in this is realizing that boy, it's hard to explain Earth. It's really hard to go back there. You think that you're gonna, oh yeah, you can go there, and you could be in an Earth body, and you can live the life, and it seems fine while you're doing it, because you don't have the memory of anything else. So you acclimate, you're fine. Then when it's time to go back, it's very confusing. It's really much harder to explain than you felt it was going to be. And that's what they're having trouble with me. They're having, it's like, well, we sent you on this mission to come back and give us this information, and yet you're having trouble doing that. And it's like they don't understand why. They don't understand why it is so hard, because it's so different.
Mm-hmm.
Tell them Earth is so different than anything that you've been to, anywhere you've been. You just don't understand, you know, and I'm trying to explain that to them. So anyway, that's
Interesting. Cool. Well, do you want to find out if there's any more things that are important for you to do as you visit this place?
I think that really is the bulk of it. That's a gist of the situation. I think it's my mission to just continue explaining to them and continue to um, over time, you know, as everything, I think as everything starts settling down in my world there again, you know, like it's just jarring. It's kind of jarring to go from Earth to there and explain everything. So I think I just need some time there to just kind of get back into that world and
Mm-hmm.
to be able to, you know, kind of, you know, get rid of, so to speak, get rid of the density of Earth and get back into where I am to start being able to give them a better idea, you know, to be able to speak better. But right now, everything was just new. I mean, it was just like, you know, it was just so much to just take in all at once. So it's going to take me a little time to settle down and be able to, and it will. I mean, you know, they're saying that, you know, it will happen, but it's very different for me and for them. Uh, Way different that you could ever imagine of having to, for them to having to understand Earth. It's just a very hard thing for them to understand it. But I want to explain to them, it's very important that I want to explain to them the beauty of it too. You know, the beauty of the planet. We talk about just the you know, the negatives of the planet, but I need them to understand the concept. And this is what I'm really worried about, is I want them to understand that it's not just that there's a, you know, so much beauty and so much things that we don't have, that, you know, we don't get to experience. And, you know, there's, you know, all the other emotions of love and you know, acceptance and uh, helping, and there's so many, and the planet itself is so beautiful, you know, and I want them to understand that too. I want them to understand everything. So it's going to take time, but I want them to understand that it's not, they're very interested. They're very interested in knowing the negatives and the emotions and the things that create all the anger and the hate, but I want them to also understand the beauty and
Mm-hmm.
the wonderness of being in a place like that too. So I think that's important. So I want them to understand both concepts. So that's my mission. That's my mission, is to explain that to them.
Cool. Very cool.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's it really for them to, yeah. And you know, I'm laughing now with them because they're saying, well, it's going to be a long time before you're going to accept another mission again. You're just, and it's like, yeah, I think I'm done for a little while now. So I think I'm
All missioned out.
yeah, and it was jarring. I mean, it was so much, you know. It's just, for a light being body to be on Earth is so taxing, so much. It's so much more than, you know, they could ever imagine. So you almost just need to, you know, a lot of time to um,
To
to
rest.
yeah, to get away from that and to get back, you know. So yeah, it's not easy. It's not an easy place to be, and it's not an easy place to be away from. So yeah.
Cool. Cool. Okay. Well, why don't you see if there's any other final things that you need to do here before we move on?
They're actually just saying that they're very grateful. They're all very grateful for well, for me, you know, being able to do this and come back with the information I need to come back with. But they're also very grateful to have Earth. They don't want it to be misunderstood. They want it to be understood that Earth is very important, and they know how important it is. And they know, and they're saying also that right now they know how the Earth changes. And that's what's so interesting. And that was, I guess, part of my mission to go, was because there's so many Earth changes happening, and there's so much going on that planet, that cosmos everywhere are interested. They're interested, you know, in what's happening on that planet. So they're very um, uh, very happy and almost like in awe of being able to talk to somebody who's been there and seen it and been through what's going on and can explain it because they know how important it is. So it's just amazing how many different um, planets and places there are that just are interested about the planet Earth right now. So they just want to honor that. They want to honor the planet itself and say, it's being definitely being honored for what it's going through, and you know, being watched from everywhere.